Amazing. So first of all, hello, how are you?
I'm good. I'm
Yeah,
calm. I'm mellow. How are
really? Yeah,
you?
because my first question to everyone has been like, obviously, it's been one of them years for Black people. So, like, my first question to everyone is just, how are you, like, in general, like, life, your energy, all that stuff? How you doing? How you coping?
I'll be honest. I think I this year I have found out the true meaning of versatility because boy, I've had to be like a chameleon every month in a sense of adapting to any changes, any new laws, any changes to. I would say I've got my foot in two industries on an everyday basis. So that's the music industry and the security industry. And that they both have a domino effect in the events live music industry as well. So I'm sure you got other questions that will cover that, but there's been times when I just feel like where am I going? Because even
Mm,
I don't get to decide it. I'm literally being tugged in so many different directions, but I just have to learn to cope with it.
yeah. So you're kind of like, it's one of them, like, roll with the punches, what comes, comes. I'm gonna.
Literally.
And has that been your energy the whole year, or is that something that you've had to work towards feeling?
I've always had that mindset of no matter what happens, I'll just roll with it. But I've never had to deal with it at this momentum before.
Yeah.
As in every week, something is changing. I'm used to seasons, give me like four L's, you know, annually, every quarter I'll take an L, I bounce back. It's nothing. But now it's like, okay, I gotta handle this
L
L
come
every
back,
week.
L come back.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Like, but anyone that will tell you differently is just probably trying to just save face.
Mm,
And I think now it's okay to not have to save face. Everybody just say what your situation is. There's sometimes it not to be like a bad man about the situation, yeah, but sometimes it's comforting to know that another person's life isn't all roses.
especially in the like space that we're in, where we're like people who are trying to create something, start something. Sometimes it doesn't always see the results. So like sometimes you do look over and you're like, okay, that person is struggling too. So it brings a
Yeah.
certain sense of comfort to be like, yeah, we're all in this together.
Yeah, and it doesn't make you feel like, raw, am I just like useless? No, it's okay. We're all getting there. And as long as we can have our eye on the prize of getting there, then that's fine. But when you got someone going, I mean, yeah, perfect, things are great. And I'm like, really? In a pandemic? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Do
Mm-hmm.
you live on this earth, this planet? You're
Like
bullshitting me,
everyone
but
is
it's
taking an
okay.
L right now. Like, do not try and
Yeah.
like
Don't try lie, boo boo. You don't have to front for me, I'll tell you mine if it makes you feel more comfortable.
honestly, I'll start off with mine and then you tell me yours because we're all not okay right now, and that's
Yeah.
okay. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I think as well, like just for me, for example, like this obviously waking up this morning to seeing um the verdict that they came out with for Breonna Taylor and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like on top of all the other like just general life spells that you're taking, there's then
Mm-hmm.
just this sense of like you're seeing Black people just being disrespected, abused, so like this morning was a struggle for me, like waking up and trying to find the energy to just like keep doing what I'm doing. Because a lot of the first thing that I saw when I saw that was, okay, then what's the point then? If Black people's lives literally mean nothing, why am I hustling to make something, to do something, if I could literally
Yeah.
be shot and my life means nothing? So
Yeah.
it's that's been very stressful. But then I kind of had to get into that space. You know how like you just get into that space where you're like, well, I either sit around and complain about it, or I get up, I continue to hustle, I continue to do what I'm doing. So here we are.
Yeah, here we are every day, waking up, trying to find our purpose or working towards our purpose. If we're lucky enough, some of us who have already found what it is,
Yes,
that's all we
and
can do.
that leads me nicely into the first kind of like proper question, which is, what made you? Obviously, you are a woman of many talents with your own security company and you're in the music industry. So I think
Mm.
what I want to know first is like, what made you decide to go into A, music, and B, security? Like what sparked that passion?
Okay, so music, I've been doing it for a couple of years, and that's purely passion. That's purely passion. and spending a lot of time perfecting my craft, honing my craft, and getting to grips with the other elements that make music as a whole. So that's just my love. That's my baby. I love to rap. I tell everybody all the time, I'm a child of hip hop. I love hip hop as not a genre, because it is not just a mere genre. Hip hop is a culture. Get with it.
That's a
It's
lifestyle.
a culture. It's a lifestyle, you know. And when I tell people, they're like, oh yeah, hip hop is a very influential culture within itself. And that's why I can never be bored of hip hop. When you're a fan of something and you're doing it as well, it's just a double blessing. So with music, growing within my sounds, taking songwriting a lot more seriously, because rapping a verse is the bare minimum if you're a rapper, but being able to create a song that people can resonate with, people can even remember, that's another thing that's not as easy as people think, to actually write choruses and hooks that people can sing back to you, especially when you're doing it live and you are independent and you've not got that huge machine and people are still, they still mess with you, they still F with you, they feel what you do.
Yeah.
It is great. And now more so than ever, I'm just taking my relationship seriously within the industry, because it's not like, okay, that guy's a producer, I'm gonna chill with him because he's a producer. I'm learning to get to learn people past their job role and past their title. So it's not just a producer, but this person is, you know, an elevated individual. We have great conversations that now inspire me to write the next single. So getting to know people within any industry you're in is beneficial in so many different ways, other than just, oh, I get a song done, or I got a goal to tick off my list for this month. So that's great in itself. And especially collaborating with other people with Connect Us Entertainment, that's the indie label. And it's just a collective of people, whether it be photography, producers, rappers, singers, where we all come together and we give each other advice like a family, hence why it's Connect House. And because of that, we just feed off each other's creativity. That helps to, you know, widen this photographer's portfolio or this single, or even to direct videos for one another, because we have so much to give freely. And I feel that we're already in a very, very selfish world as it is. Like, nobody does anything for free. And I get it, I'm in business. Why would you? Like, on paper, it looks foolish. But when you meet individuals that will give you your time and attention and effort, and they don't even want anything back, you have to value those people. And that's what it is about Connect House. We value each other, we respect each other so much so, because we know what we're giving one another.
Especially in the creative industry as well, where it's literally your progression, your career depends on the support of other people. And sometimes that's the biggest struggle, to get the support of other people, because a lot of people usually want something in return, or you're paying for promos, or you're doing this XYZ. So I think it really is like the value of people who are just willing to help you for the sake of helping you. It's unbelievable in this, like, in our current environment, in our clout chasing world. It really is. I'm telling you,
and that's another, and you brought up something that's very important as well. As expensive as an industry as it is, music, having to, you know, you have to fund your career. And there's so many aspects where it's free, the support, and even to get that is quite hard. Like,
really?
Simple, like, well, where I'm at now, it's not hard, but I've got quite a few friends, like, whether it's the cooking business they've set up, or music, or just any type of business they're in, personal training. And you'd be surprised how many people will be like, rah, like, people aren't sharing my stuff, liking my stuff, shouting it out. And it will make you go into like a spiral of doubt because of that.
And do you feel like, sorry, do you feel like then, it's so weird, because this is the one thing that keeps coming up, because everyone I'm interviewing is someone who's starting something. And the fact that we literally live in a world where we're rewarded, and you kind of validate yourself based on likes, reshares, like people reposting your stuff. And I just think that's so toxic for so many reasons, because there can be people who are getting 10 likes on their things, but the content is amazing and they're doing, and you just have to keep pushing through that. So do you feel like that's, especially in music, do you feel like that's a barrier that can sometimes lead you to doubt in yourself and your talent and all that stuff, because you're not getting those people liking or sharing?
I mean, I tell people all the time, if you're in music looking for validation from outwardly sources, don't get into music. Only get into music if you have a passion for music, and if you weren't paid for it, and if there was no such thing as social media, you'd still make it in the comfort of your room or whatever. Because if you don't, you're going to be depressed. You're going to have a lot of self-doubt. You're not going to believe in yourself. You're going to have a lot more lows than highs.
Yeah.
So, can I swear? Can I swear?
Go for it.
Boom. Okay, cool. Listen, if you want to get into anything, the tone has changed. You have to have the biggest fuck it mentality of all time.
Yeah.
I'm at a position right now in my life here that I could get one like and I don't care, because if I think the song is hot, I don't care.
Hot.
It's hot. But some may say, oh, you know, you're delusional. You have to have a little bit of delusion,
honestly,
to make it with anything. I'm sure when the Wright brothers were building that plane, everyone was like, these men are mad. Like, you're trying to fly. You know, you have to have a bit of delusion. Like, yeah, we're trying to fly. We're trying to, you know, build a plane. And look at it now. We are all flying.
Every day. Yeah.
Every day. Whole airlines, airports based on one man's invention.
Yeah.
You know? So I just feel like my fellow creatives out there, whether it's photography, music, anything, if you are not happy with doing you, don't do anything that requires the support from people. And I'm not talking about friends and family, because also friends and family, throw that out the window. Forget about that. If you think your friends and family are going to be your sounding board, forget it. I've just helped you save yourself from a lot of woes. Yeah, skip them and just do what you like to do, because there's like a billion odd people on the earth. Someone will like whatever it is you're doing. That's a guarantee.
Yeah.
They might not be what you expected, but be grateful for whoever likes what you do. I've got people that'll be like, oh yeah, you know, so-and-so like this or whatever, but I want these type of people to like it. I'm like, well, they're not fucking with you. So be happy with who is, you know? So yeah, definitely F validation. I couldn't give a toss about validation. Who is validating me, really?
And a lot of the time, it's like
the
people who are like that, like the people with all these opinions and stuff, they're not doing stuff themselves. So it's like, okay, well, then you do something and then we'll see if it works out.
Yeah, you trial it for me. Try and test it. Like all my people that are doing stuff that is not conventional, good on you, man. Good on you. But you gotta put the blinders on sometimes. You have to do that, because if you're looking what a next man is doing, or you're looking at how your friend might have lacked that friend stuff and they're not supporting your thing, then don't do it if that's what you're in it for.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I agree completely. That was a public service announcement from Yezzi.
PSA. No, I see, you get so passionate about it, because I hate to see people disheartened by these things.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, it took me a long time to like be able to say fuck it. If you're not feeling it, fuck it. Because I was once that person that was like, oh my God, I didn't get X amount of likes or X amount of shares, or I saw this person, they didn't really give me that recognition, I just released something. But now as soon as I said I don't give a F about what people think about me, now it's like, yo, Yezzi, I just heard that new single, by the way, trendy, out now. I just heard that new
Plug, love that.
I just heard that new single, or singing it back to my songs to me at a show, or personally DMing me and publicly shouting me out and giving me my props. Is as soon as I don't give a damn. And that's why life is so funny. So yeah.
So when you're stressing, it's not coming. And that is such a, like, I genuinely think, especially in this year, that is the mentality to have, is just stop stressing about stuff that doesn't matter and things will just fall into place. Like, it's a weird time for everyone. Do what you're doing. Like you said, put your blinders up, do what you're doing, and the things that are supposed to come to you will come to you. Just keep doing what you're doing out of the passion for it.
Yeah. And I gotta say shout out to your platform as well, because that's another type of recognition. Like, I'm checking my emails as you do, and it's like, yeah, we want to put you as, you know, inspiring people doing things X, Y, Z. And I'm like, huh, thank you. And those are the things that motivate me to keep doing what I'm doing. Like, you don't even know if someone's watching you. You don't even know if someone's even speaking highly of you somewhere else, and you're there beating yourself up.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why I started this, because everyone that I know who I am interviewing is just someone who I've had a conversation with. Because I remember the first time I met you and you were talking about you've had moments where you were like really like struggling and you were saying, is what am I doing wrong? Every single person that I'm interviewing is someone who has had the courage, for me, just the courage to start something, to start a venture, no matter what it is, has had that courage to say, you know what, I'm going to do this, and have had those moments where they've been like, is what I'm doing worth it? Is what I'm doing? So I want to create a space where we celebrate each other and we say, it doesn't matter if XYZ, all these people are celebrating us. Within this space, we're celebrating ourselves and we're lifting each other up, because who else is going to do it for us?
Then us.
So then the security thing, how did that come about, and where the kind of, how did that passion develop?
Okay, well, funnily enough, it literally came from where you're talking about, the space of being able to celebrate us, motivate us in so many different ways. So at the time, I was in uni studying law. So I needed money to, you know, support myself. London is not a cheap place to live. Born and raised, and it's still not a cheap place to live. So I couldn't get a job anywhere. And I'm flicking through the newspapers. So I'm going to skip a bit, but it needs to make sense. So I need to explain this bit. So I'm going through the newspapers and I see our stewards wanted. I'm thinking, oh, stewards on a plane. I'm going to look real cute and shit. So I'm already imagining my cute little fit, going up and down the aisle, doing all that shit. I get to the interview and they're like, I see a lot of men. And I'm thinking, huh, I've got this in the bag. What are they doing there? And they're like, yeah, stewards needed for football matches. I'm like, football? And they're like, Millwall Stadium. I'm like, Millwall? I'm like, anyone that lives in South London, yeah, you know the reputation Millwall has, okay? And
is it the racist one?
Racist one, aggressive one, you know, but they're a lot better now. Millwall. But at the time, I was like, oh, I felt to walk out, but I said, you know what, I need peas. Cool.
Yeah.
Did the interview. By the weekend, I was there. Cool. Earning my little chicken change. Skip through that. I saw some people doing a lot less than what I was doing. And I said, what do you do? They're like, security. I said, cool. Went and got my little student finance money. Did the course. Did that. Skip. Boom. I'm working in a nightclub at the time. So this is the first time I'm working for a security company that's Black owned.
Right.
So this is the difference between when you're working with your people and when you're working with people that want you to be in a certain position. So one day I'm finishing off the club. It's like 4 a.m. hella tired. The owner goes, that's my security name anyway. The owner goes, so-and-so, come over here, let me talk to you. I'm thinking, oh, God. Why? He's like, take a seat. Oh God, I hope he's not going to move to me. It's a bit awkward. I'm not trying to be a big head, but I'm thinking, okay. So he's like, you're a smart girl. I can see you're a smart girl. You can't be doing security and working for me for God knows how long. I was like, okay, what do you think I should do? Well, I think you can own a company of your own. I was like, what? I couldn't even fathom how to start a company. And you're telling me, yeah, right now I should have my own freaking security company. And this man literally sat down with me. He showed me some of the most influential books he's ever read, told me, write this down. And then he literally was like, this is how you set up a company, the type of company you need, where you should go, your costings, how you should even price things within the security industry. This is how it's going to be at the beginning. This is what you should expect. And the whole time I'm thinking, bro, I've been here for like 2 hours, but I can't believe he's taking the time out to do this. I don't know this man. I've not even worked for him for this long. And he was like, okay, now go ahead, do it. I literally did maybe 2 more shifts for him, 3 more shifts. And I was like, yeah, I'm out of here. Started my own company. And I'll never forget, his name is Slim. So if Slim ever comes across this, shout out to Slim, because he inspired me to really get my own bag and not to think anything's too big for me. Yeah. So that's how I got into it, you know. You
And
know, when
that's
somebody sees something in you, it's crazy, because I would never think he'd even know I'm smart. Like, I've not had many conversations with this man, and he's like, I see it in you. And I'm like, oh, wow.
I
Thanks. Yeah. So, yeah,
but
that's how I
that's,
got into it.
to me, that just highlights the importance of, like you said, the difference between working with your own, because we want to see each other succeed. So he could have kept you on his payroll, kept
Yeah.
you in that position, but he said, no, this is something, like, I want to do something, I want to uplift someone else. And I think that's, to me, that's an amazing story. Like, that's, I'm kind of emotional over here. I'm like,
Oh,
raw, like
oh.
and the fact that he just, like, he took out his time, not expecting anything back, just to help you get to somewhere. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And how
Yeah.
long have you been running your security company now?
Since 2017.
Right,
Since
okay.
2017, yeah. So it's been a while. I think they say the first 3 years of business is the hardest, and a lot of the first year was getting to know what I'm going to specialize in, because you can't just start a security company and go, yeah, I do everything. I mean, obviously I do everything, but there is going to be areas that you specialize in, that you get your contracts in. And because it's a relatively small company, at this point in time, I still have to have the knowledge of every department
Yeah.
that I'm working in. So I have an accountant, but I still need to have basic accountancy skills, management, administrative, just everything. Oh, my organization has been forced to be leveled when you own a company, because in a set, you're working with a lot of different people.
Yeah.
On each side, whether it's the client, whether it's your employees, and you're working in different sectors. So I can say my company specializes in private events, or public and private events, but each event is different. So I might have, a birthday party, that's fine. Middle-aged people, great. Or I might have to do, 30 stewards to a football stadium in West Ham football stadium. And a football crowd is different to a birthday crowd, different to a launch party. It's so different, and you work with so many different clients. And sometimes you'll have clients go, I want security, but not, they don't have to come across as security. They need to be a bit more friendly, laid back. And I'm like, okay. Okay. And you just have to do what the client says, but you still have to give them advice that makes sense. So I found myself falling to being a consultant now, because
Yeah.
I'm offering consultancy advice to even promoters who, they've not done club promotions for a long time, and they're like, you know what, let's have a meeting about the type of security I'll need. Sorry, bear with. Just busy at the moment. Yeah, just busy. Yeah, I am. Bear with. Cool. Sorry about that. And sorry about that. And I was gonna say, and a lot of people need advice on security, because a lot of people don't even know how broad the spectrum is. So I have to do everything from beginning to end. It's a very tailor-made service. So you can't just send me, oh, I need 2 security guards. I need to know what type of venue it is. And sometimes if I'm not familiar with it, I have to visit the venue, because now I've got to put my health and safety hat on and see, okay, how many you would need based on the venue, the type of people, the amount of people coming, and the type of people coming. Now, this is when you get to the ugly truth of security.
Yeah.
Because when in Connect House, we also run showcases, music showcases and club nights. So you'll find different venues will ask, oh, what type of music's playing? What type of people are coming? And it's that aha moment, like, okay, I see where this is going. Cool. And, you find yourself not being comfortable to say hip hop. You'll use different masks like urban music, eclectic music, an array of music, a mix.
Lots
of lots of things, on the night. But it's so sad that we have to do that.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter what type of people you're saying, even if you go, 18 to 25, just say the type of music, and a lot of people will be like, I already know who's coming. Yeah. Like, you dare not say dancehall. Your emails will not be responded to. Promoters, Don't
I know
bother.
we're laughing, but that's actually really deep.
It's so bad. It's so bad. It's so bad. And even with security, it's like I'll have venue managers tell me, oh, and this is when I was working in security, but I was more like head doorman status at this point. So I'd
Yeah,
have security guards and stewards that I will now direct and manage for the night. So I'd have meetings with venue managers and we're having a briefing. They're like, yeah, we've got, you know, urban music on tonight, so I've decided to book on double the amount because I know there'll be a bit of trouble. And in my head, I'm like, why would you assume there's trouble? Yesterday
mm-hmm.
you know, we had a certain type of music and you booked half the amount, and today we've got freaking army here, but okay, or
Cool.
whatever. But you can't, when you're in certain rooms, you can't say, how dare you, or why would you say that? Or to be honest with you, I've got the stats of the last month of events, and there's been more issues with a certain different demographic. You have to swallow and bite your tongue in business a lot until, and this is where I always encourage people, we need more people like us to own clubs, to own security companies, to just own what they're doing. We need more people like us on the council, because if I own a venue and my venue normally is up until 3 a.m. I can serve alcohol, and I apply to the council and I say, you know what, I need an alcohol license till 6 a.m. and they're looking at my venue going, oh, it's a bit too,
Urban.
urban. No, you're not getting that license. But if I have someone like me on the board in the council and says, you know what, go ahead, we can make life a lot easier for us. And this goes back to the whole Breonna Taylor situation, just everything that's going on in life in general. Whereas, get your knee off my neck. I'm not asking you to help me, but don't get in my way. That's all it is.
That's it. And I think that's
yeah.
That's the energy that so many people like. I think the biggest thing that this year has brought to the Black community is the importance of ownership, the importance of us having our own spaces, the importance of us being able to facilitate each other's needs, because we all know that the systems are not designed for us. We all know that we're going to be judged in certain spaces, or things are going to happen differently because we're Black. So like you're saying, if I'm going to a Black musician to help me with this event that I'm doing, or a Black artist or a Black photographer or a Black, it makes my life easier, because immediately so many issues are removed because the race thing is no longer, and that's usually one of the biggest problems, is the race thing. So yeah. I could not agree with you more in the sense of ownership at the moment is the biggest thing that I'm like trying to push, and like especially with younger Black people, is that we need to own more of the things that we are doing, because the only people that are going to help us to get ahead are ourselves at the moment. Like, that's literally the case.
It's so true. And I know people are going to watch this and go, oh yeah, do you know how hard it is to own? My people, I'm going to look directly in the camera.
Yes, amen.
If you have very good friends or people you trust, there's nothing wrong with splitting the cost of buying somewhere 3 ways, 4 ways, 5 ways, 6 ways. Just get the place. That's all you need to do. But a lot of people, I want to do it on my own. And if I can't do it on my own, it's hard out here in these streets.
But why?
Get in. A lot of different minority groups, and I'm not going to put them on blast, they own a lot of property and they're not buying it on their own. I'll just put that out there. Sometimes you've got 3 families going in, putting money in and buying one house. They all live up in that bitch, and then they buy another one, boom, disperse. They buy another one, disperse.
That's the biggest kind of issue that I think within the Black community we need to tackle, is this idea that like we are so scared to just do things. It's all about this like, I'm on a hustle path, I'm on this path, I'm gonna make it to this place. But it's like, why is it that you need to struggle so much by yourself? Every other community that is flourishing, you see that they always come together. When money is involved, every other community is able to come together to get to that common goal of financial security, financial just being better financially. But for some reason, freedom, because in our society, finances and being financially secure, that is freedom. And I can understand within our community, we have had a lot of obstacles in the sense of like, the systems have pit us against each other, and there is a lot for us to deal with within our community. I am 100% with you in the sense of we need to get out of this whole, if it's not by myself, then the success isn't real. Because everyone else is building stuff with other people. So why are we struggling and trying to kill ourselves so much for the same things that other people are doing? Like, I just don't, it breaks my heart.
It's so heartbreaking, but at the same time, it's like, oh, Black people, we just need to, and I know people will come for me, I don't care. We need to pattern up in the sense of, cool, I'm not going to look at myself as, you know, an African. I'm just going to say Black. So it covers all bases.
All of us.
We cannot be other people that, okay, let's just say we've been here since Windrush. Cool. What's that? What was that again? 60s, okay. Cool. So we've had some Windrush till now to kind of make moves. And on the other side, we have people from India. And if you see what they're able to do in 5 years, it's crazy in comparison to decades where you would think that's some way of, you know, a springboard to success. And like you said, the only thing that holds us back is we want to do it all on our own. We want to hustle and grind, and we love telling people, I haven't slept and I'm stacking my peas. Mate, however way you get your peas, I'm not judging, but trust me, 2 hustlers are better than 1.
Yes.
But we lack a lot of trust.
Yeah. And also it's just this kind of, I feel like a lot of us have the kind of, I don't want to use the word victim, but a very kind of like the mentality where we want our story to be tragic. We want to be able to say, I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't eating, I had £2 in my bank account and I still made it. It doesn't need to be like that. It really doesn't. It really doesn't.
No, it doesn't. But numbers, we need numbers. Like if someone sees us now and go, yo, Yezzi, I really like what you're doing with Connect House. Come on over, let's talk. If someone goes, oh, you got a security company, you know what? I just want to join forces with someone. Let's make it mega. Come on over. You know, let's
and that's
grow.
the mentality we need to have. That's the same mentality that got Google and Facebook to where they are. It's that let's join, let's make this as big as possible, rather than just having like it's a pride thing almost. I think of you want the pride of being able to say, I stand alone over here. This is my platform that I built. That I'm. But it's like, why? Okay, you built it, amazing, beautiful. Now make it into something bigger, something better. Why the struggle? Why?
There's no need. But then people will see like you're Richard Branson and think Richard Branson is doing it all on his own. Virgin is a franchise. It's a franchise. Even McDonald's is a franchise. Subway is a franchise. They are dispersing work to people. They're not running it all.
From this conversation, Black people, if you take anything away, it's just I want Black people to start to understand that when we look at all these super successful businesses, and when you look at the thing of, you know, a lot of white families having generational wealth, that generational wealth is not gained by yourself. And we need to get out of that mentality that if we're ever going to achieve the same financial emancipation, we need to take tips. How did they do it? And that's how we need to do it, rather than trying to do this whole struggle by ourselves mentality. Use each other. That's what we're here for. As a community, support each other.
Yeah. And support has to come from a place where you're not jealous.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't even want to do what you're doing, but they hate the fact that you might even be successful in it. And because of that, they'll just dismiss it. They won't acknowledge it because they know the power in acknowledgement. Yep. They know the power in word of mouth. And they want to take that away from you. And it's just so sad. It's so sad. We need to get our positivity up on a whole new level, because only a positive mindset will see the benefits are beyond me. I'm trying to start things now that 6 generations from now will be like, rah, thank God Grandma Yezzi did that when she did it. Because Paris Hilton is enjoying the fruits of her great grandfather's labor.
Exactly. So I think that you've like hit the nail on the head. Is like, we need to stop being so, and I think it's a big thing in our community is the immediate gratification. You just want money, likes, clout, fame straight away. There's no like long-term thinking in the sense of, this is a journey. If we're going to dismantle these systems, if we're going to make change, if we're going to build our community, your likes, your bank account right now are insignificant compared to what you need to be thinking about 50, 60, 80, 100 years from now. That's how we need to start.
Yep. Yep. As soon as we can get in that mindset, because it's all from the mind, everything else is just, is game over. It is really game over.
Honestly, and I'm just hoping that, I feel like we're getting there. It's slow and it's a struggle, but we're getting there.
2020 is the eye opener. Then 2021, action.
Yes.
I'm expecting action.
I'm expecting all these Black-owned ventures to start popping up and all these collabs and all that. That's what we need to start seeing. Is we've seen that the systems and the world does not care about us. Let's do something about it now. So yeah, action is definitely the next step. And the next thing that I was going to ask you, actually, based off of your two loves, your two interests, your two passions, they're very male-dominated spaces. Hip hop and security, very male-dominated spaces. How do you cope? How does that? I can't even imagine what you go up against on a day-to-day basis, because I remember you telling me when we first met the story about, was it Burna Boy who asked you why you were doing security at a concert?
Oh, no, it was his manager. So he was kind of like, I'm assuming he's not used to seeing females doing security. So he was like, what's a girl like you doing security for? And you find out, you come across a lot of comments like that because a lot of people aren't used to seeing that imagery or these type of people in these type of spaces. So I'll give his manager the benefit of the doubt with that one. But people think I pick this or choose this on purpose, but I'm comfortable being around men. So I think that's why I'm able to get into it. I don't see being around men as a threatening situation. So I do know there's some women, not all, that they're generally uncomfortable being around a lot of men. And from young, I've always been comfortable, whether it's being on the football team, whether it's going on certain school trips. And I've had friends go, oh, I'm not going on that school trip, all the boys are going. I'm going to be like the only other girl. And I'm like, I don't care. Yeah, and I feel like it depends on your experience with men. Like all of us have had good and bad experiences. And I've had a lot of men embrace me on a sisterly level, which has made me feel comfortable with speaking out in these spaces. Because, okay, in the music industry, you're going to come across your creeps. We all know who they are. Some of us don't know who they are. It's whatever, you know who you are. But there are a lot of good men as well. In the same token, there's a lot of guys that treat me like a sister, give me advice, truly want the best for me. And those people will shout to you, you know who you are. And the same with security. You'll have men that look out for you on the job, have your back. Like I've had, I call them friends anyway in security now, that have literally, if guys have been a bit rowdy with me, they're ready to knock someone out. They're like, you can't speak to my sis like that.
No way.
And honestly, those moments are touching because sometimes it's people you've not even met before in your life. They're just genuine men. And there are men that, will tell you, you shouldn't be here. I've worked and I've had to, manage a certain amount of people in certain football stadiums. And I've had men truly go, I'm not taking orders off you this shift. I'm not doing it. You're a woman and you're younger than me. And I've said to this particular man, if you've got a problem with that, you can go home and you're not going to get paid for this shift. It is what it is. We're all here to do a job. I'm not going to beg you to stay. There's plenty of other people that can trust me to take care of them on this shift. No harm will come to them. And you can't question my logistics when it comes to security.
Like the company.
No, yes, sometimes no, not when I've owned it. This has been when I've just been a manager.
Been
I dare somebody to say to me when I own the company.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, yo.
No. This is when I was management.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, when I was management, and it's like some people be like, oh my God, I really shouldn't be here. But for me, that just motivated me even more because now you're intimidated, and there must be something about me that intimidates you. I've had other people come up to me and say, oh, the only reason you've been made a manager in this type of, because you won't see people like me as a manager in certain buildings. So when you do, you're like, And I remember this one guy was like, they only made you a manager And the only reason they've made you a manager is because you ain't nothing but Caesar. And I was like, Caesar, Planet of the Apes. Okay, so little like plantation type of comparison in the sense of they'll listen to their own type of thing. And I thought, you know what? I see where you're going with it. But if that was the case, you were here before me, mate, and they still ain't made you a manager. So, boom. Okay.
Full stop. Period. Bye.
Bye. And it's not even just people that don't look like you. Sometimes you have people that look like you try to put you down,
Yeah,
and take you out of where you need to be because they're not used to seeing you there.
yeah.
So if there's one thing within those two industries that I've had to learn, is to again just do me and not to question why I'm here. Because a
Blinders
lot of
up.
people put their blinders up, and a lot of people try to question your achievements or make you feel like you don't deserve them. But only you know your story, only you know your struggle. And I'm not someone that'll be on every day like, oh my God, today was such a bad day, because I like to spread positivity and light. But God knows why you get what you get. And it doesn't matter what anybody else says.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And then kind of coming off that then, what would you say in both those industries is the most rewarding part of what you do? And then on the other side of that, what's the most kind of struggle part, the hardest part of what you do in both those industries?
I'll say with the hardest part, it's getting people to trust your brand. So for example, with my music, my brand is Yezzi Yezzir. And with the way music is now, you have to like me before you even like my music. You
Yep.
know, gone are the days where people could like your music and that's it. It's like, do I even like her type of thing? So definitely getting people to buy into your brand, liking your brand is not easy, because then on the security side of things, I have to get people's trust. You're trusting me with either your family, your friends, your business as well. And you're trusting me with your reputation to not mess things up for you. So definitely getting people to buy into your brand, even just to look your way, and then to have them on as someone that can now rave on about you to someone else. Like, right, have you heard that Yezzi Yezzir song? Trendy, out now. Have you? Or like, oh, you know what? I had this event on Beyi Security was the one that supplied it. You should definitely use them. Because I've had so much work and so much validation come through word of mouth.
Yeah, it's a
So
powerful tool.
it's a very powerful tool. And anybody that says they support what you're doing, if they're not talking about it, then they need to, because that's very powerful. And so that was the hardest. The easiest, the nicest thing about these two things is, what was he saying? I said the hardest right now, isn't it?
Yeah, but I feel like you kind of answered both of the things in the I feel like it sounded like the reward comes from the validate or the word of mouth, or getting.
Yeah. Oh
when
yeah, I did.
Yeah. You kind of answered that very nicely in one little package. It was like,
Yeah. I meant to do that. I need to do that.
Professional. Yeah, for sure. Because I can understand that being like the hardest thing is getting your foot in the door, and then the most rewarding part is when you have your foot in the door. It really is that simple. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so have you found then that it's been, when you do kind of get things kind of organically through that word of mouth, it feels sweeter? Like, do the victories or the jobs or does it feel better when it has been through that kind of, someone's recommended you and someone, is there a different feeling in that work that you do then when it's come through those channels?
100%, because it's now you can get that car salesman section out the way where you feel like you have to sell yourself. That's
like,
out the
already
way.
sold.
Already sold. So all I have to do is show you. And it's definitely, that's just like, weight off my shoulders.
Yeah.
It's definitely sweeter.
Yeah. And then what with both these things then, where do you see yourself kind of going in 5 years and 10 years? Where do you see Yezzi going? Where do you see Beyi Security going in the next 5 years, 10 years?
I'm always thinking about this stuff. probably on an unhealthy level. I don't know, healthy, I don't know. Yezzi is definitely a lot bigger touring, because I love to do live performances. So definitely touring, definitely touching a lot more souls with my music internationally, and really doing my passion on a full-time basis.
Yeah.
And everything I do, it just encompasses the brand that is Yezzi Yezzir. And with Beyi Security, still doing that, because I started it as a means of income, and then I've looked at it as a gift to my future kids. If they ever wanted it, hey, you go, I've got a business that I've just, been working on for the last 20 odd years.
Take it.
Yeah, no, take that. But Beyi Security, definitely still owning that, probably like having a board of directors and having someone to actually manage it for me. And I'm just at a level where I'm overseeing. So right now I'm doing everything, but I just want to be an overseer, seeing where it's going, if it's on track. And, having people in my area, like I have kids that I don't want to see go into, the wrong type of crowd. So even at this level, I have an apprentice right now that shadows me. Yeah, he shadows me. So I'm like, you know what? Look at the business, see how it's done. Look at the venues we go to. Even if you don't want to do security, just look at how businesses are run.
Yeah.
Learn, because, a lot of the youth clubs are closed down. A lot more stuff, things and, businesses are closed down now that were helping children in areas. And I don't want him sitting on a brick wall and someone going, you want to make some money. I don't want that. So I'm like, I'm going to keep you busy. Come roll with Auntie today.
Come learn some things.
Come learn some things. And even with Beyi Security, I know a lot of people from certain backgrounds, they have problems with getting apprenticeships in certain companies. So I want Beyi Security to be a hub that really is helping a lot of people that, if you want work, if you want experience, apprenticeships, internships that are paid, none of this free-ish, paid, and just helping people grow.
Oh my God, I love that. So you're literally using this gift that you were given by that man however many years ago, and you're turning it into, it sounds to me like a community project, something that is a space where you are getting people in our community somewhere. You're breaking a cycle, essentially. You're allowing people a space where they can make something of themselves.
Definitely, because I was telling the young man that I'm with now that I'm not talking about you being on the doors with security. A whole company has so many departments, from the legal department, IT department, marketing and branding, logistics, overseas partnerships. There's so much, the graphic design. So when you find out what you really want to do,
run with it.
Come back to me. Or if you find yourself going, you know what, I like this, start learning it and stuff. And I've always told him, you know what, if there's any equipment you need, I got you, because I don't want him having to do things that he doesn't have to do to afford things. And social media will make you feel like before you're 21, I need a Gucci belt, a Mercedes Benz, a house paid off, and it's like, no. You don't need those things. It's not realistic, and it's not needed. Like, use these years to really just find out who you are. I know people older than me that still don't know who they are. And I feel that's because you use so much of your life or your teenage years trying to be something else. And then you use your 20s to be something to keep up with something that even you don't understand.
Yeah.
And then you become an adult, wherever that is. And then you're like, you know what? I'm just going to be me, man. Unapologetically.
Mm-hmm. And it's that moment, I think, where you really just start to realize, like, purpose and what it is that you're actually supposed to be doing, rather than trying to be all these other people.
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, that's like what you said you're trying to do with the security, and like just trying to, because it is true, like so many of the services that help like young people to stay out of trouble, to have something to do, are gone. So it really is up to us as a community to say, well, the powers that be are not going to help us, so what can we do within our communities to create these spaces? And honestly, that's amazing. I bow down to you. I can't, I'm like fangirling right now. I'm like, oh my God.
Thank you.
So I guess that leads me quite nicely onto the next question, which is, do you feel that then the things that you do and the spaces that you occupy within the music industry and the security industry in today's climate, do you feel that you're making a political statement by being where you are? Do you feel like it's a needed, you need, the space that you occupy needs to be occupied by you? Do you feel like it's doing something important?
I'm so selfless to a point whereby I don't even think it needs to be occupied by me, but it just needs to be occupied by the right person. You know, I could lead the way and inspire others. I could see someone that's already in a position and I can support them with making an even bigger impact. I'm selfless to that point where it's not about having the limelight on me, but the right imagery to be out there. So with music, yeah, I believe music does need women that aren't afraid to say they're educated. They need women that aren't afraid, not afraid, but women of my shade need to be represented and not get pressured into bleaching or changing yourself in any which way. I just think you need more people that are confident, because I believe there's a lot of platforms that try to penetrate people's self-worth, people's confidence, and that's the domino effect into surgery and just self-hate instead of self-love. So whatever I do, I want to promote self-love and just learning to love what you have as opposed to changing it. And with music, I try to do that with my music. I try to not make it sound preachy, but you understand the underlying messages and what I'm saying. And it's always to educate, but in a digestible way.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you feel like someone's preaching at you, it's like, oh, listen, I just want to turn up and have fun. But when you're learning something and you're like, oh, you know, it's a bop, you know, it's a bop. And I've clocked what you said. So men and women will come up to me and go like, I see you educating in that type of, you see, and that feels so good to have that happen. So yeah, you definitely need people like myself without sound, I feel so weird saying that, but people like myself.
Big up yourself, go for it.
People like myself or people similar to myself who can embrace being different in a world when it's so easy to just be like everyone else.
So then I guess you do then feel like what you do, even if it's not directly kind of political or a form of activism or trying to change, even if it's not directly, you know, that was your goal, it has morphed into that where you are trying to change and do something powerful and give something beautiful to the world, it sounds like.
Yeah, I feel like activism should come as, okay, with activism, all these things, we need people that can say, yes, I'm an activist, great. But people that are within the entertainment industry or just industries where you don't expect them to be pushing an agenda, so to speak, you can achieve that with gifting the world with something. So whether it's education, whether it's opportunities to make that change that you would like to see within yourself. So for example, God willing, I've got an expendable income and I can say, you know what, I want to pay someone's tuition fees.
Yeah.
Who wants to become whatever they want to become, whether it's a mathematician, scientist, whatever. That is my gift. That is my form of activism. Or, you know what, I've got a company, I can see the disparity in people from a certain background being able to work in these certain industries, as opposed to me knocking on the doors of these industries and saying, let us in, because we ain't begging no more. I'd rather just say, come and work for me. I've got companies or friends that own companies in these sectors. Don't worry about knocking on their door. We've got a table.
Our doors open.
A seat. Yeah, we got a seat for you at our table. Don't worry about their table. So that
the food's better over here too.
Food's better too. It's seasoned. Okay, it's seasoned. Okay, but no, that's why I feel like activism is changing and it's evolving. So it's not just about marching. We still need our marchers out there. We appreciate you. We still need people to say, yo, these people need to be held accountable. But we also are now blessed with a lot of successful people like your Tyler Perry's being able to own a whole freaking studio now.
Yeah.
And being able to give opportunities, that is his activism, whether he knows it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So essentially, it doesn't necessarily need to be, you know, marching with my fist up, megaphone, making speeches. We are now doing activism in everyday life. There are so many different places we can penetrate where we can uplift and be performing activism.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and I 100% agree with that, because not everyone is built to do the speeches, and that's not everyone's kind of platform. So I think we're in a place where whatever platform you have, as long as you're using it to advance our people, I think that's the main thing at the moment. Yeah.
That is your activism. Yeah.
And then would you say that, you've kind of answered this already, but would you then say that it's vital for us to continue to create these spaces, these Black spaces that celebrate us, that champion us, that are trying to push us forward? Do you think that that's, because I know a lot of people are starting to say, you know, these Black only spaces are counterproductive, and, you know, we should be trying to bring everyone together, and Black people, why are you separating off? And this is a very touchy issue, obviously, for Black people, because we're not welcome in the spaces that you're saying we should join in. So do you then feel that these spaces we're trying to create are uplifting our community, need to continue to be at the top of our agenda?
It has to be at the top of our agenda, especially since Black people, we're no longer in a particular continent anymore. So when we continue to be the minority in a lot of countries within the West, yeah, we do need to make spaces for ourselves, especially if we're 3% in a whole country, or 2%, or we only reside in a certain state or coast. We do need these things. And the reason why we need them is because the people that are telling us to be more inclusive have not provided them. And I was saying to my friends the other day that for as long as we have application forms that still insist on having things like nationality as a checkbox, then I think there's a need for me to create my own spaces, because you have something on your mind that you don't want to disclose to me.
100%. Yeah. And that's just the thing. I think this year for me has been a lot of, I think the hardest thing is just realizing that people are actively trying to ensure that we do not have a place or a voice in this world. I think that's been the hardest part to realize as a Black person this year. We are literally being told every day that we do not deserve a space in this world. And it's then kind of understanding and accepting that, but then realizing that the only option is for us to create our own things. That literally is how, because we're literally being told that we don't deserve a space, so it's up to us to create those spaces.
Yeah, and one thing I do want to say is that the people that are trying to make people feel bad for creating their own spaces, you can take your GCSE re-psychology and get the heck up out of here, because don't try and flip the switch and say, oh, you're the racist then. No, boo-boo. No. I will create my spaces, and if you feel uncomfortable with them, that's a you problem.
Yes, that is that unapologetic. We need, as Black people, it's the unapologeticness now. We've been apologizing for way too long. Now we are trying to move forward. We're trying to build things, and we've just got to be unapologetic about it. That's literally the bottom line.
Couldn't agree more.
And do you feel then, has being Black in either industries hindered you in any way?
Black. Okay. Within the music industry, there is colorism, heavy colorism. But I try not to think about it, because if I do, it will take away my joy from every release. I don't want to have, if I release this song, it's not going to be as big because I'm not of a certain shade now. People who love it will love it, and that's all I care about. There's some things that unfortunately may always exist, or it may take another 50 years for it to be finally done. But I can't have it plague my mind. Because there's a lot of people that appreciate me for who I am. And the people that don't want to acknowledge me because of my shade, I don't even want to meet you. I don't want to know you. I don't want to be in the same rooms as you. So if you don't even want to acknowledge me, great. We both feel the same. About being Black, I don't think a lot of people admit it within security, but there's one thing I noticed, and we have a lot of Black people on the doors, but not a lot of Black people owning the companies. So again, it goes back to ownership. I wouldn't say it's hindered me, but there are situations you come across, like let's just say certain high profile companies, they rather have Black people on the door outside against all weather conditions, but then they might have people that are not Black in the suits inside to impress the clients because that seems a bit more palatable. And I would like to know what makes it more palatable, in the sense of, I've seen situations where you have people inside that can't even speak English, but they're inside wearing the shiny suits next to the clients to impress them. But the Black men are outside against all weather conditions that can speak English. They've got the gift of the gab. They know how to impress clients. They've maybe been doing security for 20 years, but they're not good enough to be inside. So you see these things, a lot of people don't speak up about them because they don't own. So you have to swallow that pill.
So I think this conversation keeps coming back to that core idea of ownership is more important now than ever.
Yeah, because we've spent, like you said, we spent enough years being apologetic, and we've spent even more years begging to be in these spaces. And now it's the eye opener of, you know what, let's just do our own thing.
Yeah, 100%. And just to finish up, the last question that I had for you was, for any little Black child looking at who could potentially be watching this, sorry for the swearing if you're a child and you're watching this, but for any young Black person watching this and seeing that you're someone who has your own business, someone who is in the music industry, what advice would you give them, just in terms of helping to uplift and helping to inspire the generation below us? Because I think right now that's vital. That's the most important thing that we can do right now. So what advice would you give to any young Black person looking at this saying, how do I get there?
I feel like the first thing is, this sounds like so weird to say, but don't even think about being Black. See yourself as a human being first and foremost. So then anything you want to do, you don't have that excuse. See yourself as a human being, and don't think of, oh, I'm Black or I'm this gender. You say to yourself, I can do this, and there's no reason why I can't. And everything else will fall in place. Because a lot of us hold ourselves back because of that self-doubt of, I'm Black, I'm probably not going to get it. Or I'm a woman, I'm not going to get that. Or, you know what, I wasn't even born and raised in this particular Western country, so what chance would they give me? I've got an accent. You know, I've seen people hold themselves back based on their accent alone. So go after whatever you want without thinking about the doubts. Don't even list the doubts. You know, when people go, oh, what are the pros, what are the cons? Forget the cons. Just list your pros, baby. Just list your pros. That's
I love that.
To do.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's the best advice I've ever heard. List your pros. That's it. Full stop.
Yeah.
I love that so much. And I think it's, for me right now, conversations like this are so important, just where you have two Black people who are trying to do something, trying to create something, who are able to speak, offload, who are able to, because even the fact that I've only ever met you twice or whatever, I'm starting to realize that within the community and amongst us, there is that kind of sense of family and that sense of, I've met you once before in real life. This is the second time we've spoken, but I'm rooting for you. I want to see you do well.
Likewise.
I want everything that you are working for to happen the way you want it, because it literally is just a time where we need to give each other as much positive energy and as much love and uplift each other in as many ways as possible. So and I put you on my list for a reason. I'm really like what you do and your kind of desire, your passion, your drive. It's so, so, so impressive. And I wish nothing but the best for you.
Thank you. No, I wish nothing but the best for you as well, because it's good to have relationships that come about organically, because they're always great and they're always useful. And now I feel like I've got someone that I can reach out to, not in just a professional basis, but life-wise. Like, you know what? I'm going through this, man. Let's talk about it. Let's
get some drinks and chop it up. Like, yes. You know? 100%, because even though the kind of purpose of this interview was to look at Yezzi, the brand, we spoke about ourselves as people, and I feel like there's been a lot of healing elements in this conversation where it's literally just been like me and my homegirl just having a talk and just
therapy.
Yes, therapy.
Very therapeutic.
So thank you so much for taking the time out to do this with me. And everyone, Trendy single out now.
It's out now. The video's out on the 1st of October.
Oh my God, exciting. I'm so excited to see that. I saw the picture that you posted the other day and I was like, yes, this is an energy that I am feeling. So I'm so excited for that. So I wish you all the best. And I know 100% that we'll probably work together again. So I'm really looking forward to developing not only a professional, but a personal relationship as well.
I'm with you on all levels. I'm with you on that one. Thank you so much for asking me. It's really good. It's a really good feeling, a really good conversation to have, and an in-depth interview. So you put something together really well.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Queen. And I just hope you have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day, whatever you're doing today.
Oh, thank you. I'm just going to Asda.
Hope that's beautiful.
Thank you. You too. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.